Hello everyone, Manchester United are back in action on Thursday evening at 6:15 against Czech side Viktoria Plzen. It's the blockbuster that everybody's watching, a 6:15 kickoff, nothing like it on a Thursday night, let me tell you. But, you know, given the run of fixtures, lads, that we've got coming up in the Premier League, especially, this might be the one where you can probably... Is it Gary Neville who says this is the banker? This is the one that he thought would come in. This feels like the only win we could possibly get in December, the way results are going. I don't want to be too negative, but I'm just being open and honest with you guys. We have a lot of tough fixtures. And like you say, a lot of the times, Chivy, it feels like the Europa League may potentially be the only kind of saviour of route back into European football in general. So we've just got to all hold our hands together, cross fingers, and go forth with it. But this Czech side, it's not really... It doesn't put fear in the bones, does it? But just given how we'd performed, Chivy, in Europe, you never quite know, do you, with these kind of games?
First of all, I don't like that their kit looks like Crystal Palace. It kind of just...
PTSD.
Yeah, Palace is like a bogey ball. All of a sudden, they're like a bogey team for us now. So it's like, flashbacks and all that. But now we should be doing it. Like, I would, if I were him, obviously I'm not him, but if I was him, I'd play my strongest squad. Like, we have to secure qualification. Like, this is the one, because there's nothing we're going to do in the Prem. That's not happening. I mean, this is the most realistic trophy that we can win. And if I was in, I'll go all out for it, to be honest. As far as cancers, I don't really know too much about Viktoria Plzen.
Are you telling me you can't give me a full breakdown of Viktoria Plzen, who the best players are, and a tactical basis? Because I was counting on that for the next 10 minutes, to be honest with you, to fill the show.
No, I know Sam's been following them for like...
Yes.
It's Sam who's doing the breakdown of this game. Okay, fair enough.
I watched the Czech League week in, week out. Like, that's my little niche.
I don't see it.
Forget Italian night here. Forget all the AC Milan teams and the classic thing. Nah, Viktoria Plzen in the Czech League. That's the one.
That's where it's at, mate. That's where it's at, obviously.
Yeah.
Can't wait till we get absolutely blasted by this team as well now.
Chivy mentions Crystal Palace there, Sam, and bits of PTSD. I always feel like I'm having PTSD from the mood, how it was at the time after we lost there. Is it a similar mood for you at the moment, or not quite as bad yet? Where's your scale at?
No, I think on the pitch, there's stuff I've seen that obviously he's trying to implement, and it looks like there's things happening. The sort of big buddies and stuff going on off the pitch at the minute, aren't they? That's the sort of chaos that's going on with Dan Ashworth, the ticket pricing and all that sort of stuff. So that's the sort of chaos that's going on. Which, will it affect the team? To be honest, we've been pretty poor anyway. So would we notice even if it did? But yeah, the Nottingham Forest game, which I was at, that was a really poor showing. So many mistakes, so many sort of switches off in concentration, which in the Premier League, if you do that, you're going to get battered. It doesn't matter who it is, that you will get absolutely destroyed. And like you said, in the Europa League, we have been extremely poor. What is it, 2 wins in Europe in the last sort of 12 games?
I want to say,
2 wins.
Yeah.
No, that's correct.
Yeah, like
we've had 4 draws and 2 wins.
So it's not been a great run. Like we thought FC20, that's a game we can win. Couldn't do it. Went to a Porto side that were in free fall, and the manager was looking at he was going to get sacked. Couldn't get a win. We struggled against Bodo Glimt. Don't forget, like that was a bit of a sort of rocky thing, wasn't it? Like they equalised a couple of times. So yeah, I don't have any confidence in this game whatsoever. Like regardless of who the opposition is, just because our confidence is super low. We haven't got a great record in Europe, and our away form is piss poor. Like extremely bad. So yeah, there's not a lot of confidence from me right now.
Well, I wanted to ask about form in different competitions. Does it feel like a flat track line for you, Chivy, with every competition, or have you seen bits in Europe where it fills you with a bit more positivity?
It's a bit weird because we've seen that happen quite a few times in the past couple of years, not just with Man United, but with other teams. Where it's like Chelsea, I remember that season where they were just blowing everyone out in the Champions League. But in the league, they were kind of just like, dead. So I've seen that quite a few times. Even Real Madrid do that sometimes, where they're struggling in La Liga. They have them periods where they're struggling for results. And then they do really well in Champions League. So it's a bit weird. I don't I don't see how that's the case, but sometimes it happens. However, in our case, it's a flat line across because we haven't really been good anywhere really, apart from the what competition was it when we played Barnsley?
Carabao Cup.
Carabao.
Was that Carabao? Yeah. So I suppose that's the only one where we've really
We
played
win
one
that
game.
as well.
What?
Do the double.
Exactly. 1 game, 7 goals. Like that's the only one where we've been kind of shown any sort of form. But across the board, I think it's just pretty consistent, unfortunately. But I'm not as pessimistic as Sam. I have a lot more hope. I've seen like online, like I couldn't even watch any content because everyone's just like negative.
Fucking crying. Everyone's upset, crying.
Everyone's just up in arms. Like I don't think it's that bad. I think it's
Why?
just
Why don't you think it's that bad though?
What the situation in the club?
Yeah, if everyone has this angle and this perspective on it, I suppose the stuff outside of football that's ongoing with Ratcliffe. I mean, we've just had news before we went live about fucking a voucher from £100 being replaced by a £40 M&S. Little bits like this,
it's just
really bringing everyone down. So why do you, on the pitch, why do you not think it's as bad?
I think, first of all, on the pitch, I think the manager, I can see what he's trying to do. I think once he has a consistent 11, because he doesn't have a consistent 11. When we played Arsenal, we played with Malacia, we played with Mount, 2 players that have been out for a very long time, literally just trying to find their feet back in there. We didn't play Mazraoui. I think he played on the left hand side, I think, of the back three. Yep. It was a very put together squad in comparison to Arsenal, who have their standard 11. So there's context to things like this, and I could see, even though like people were getting frustrated with the way we're playing, I could see what we're trying to do. Like, when the defenders do the passing to each other, like everyone's getting, complaints, everyone hates that, but we're trying to bait the press. And that's how we scored the goal against Nottingham Forest. Like, get players out of positions, trying to draw them in to press the ball so we find spaces in behind, and that's how we scored against Forest. So I don't think it's that bad. There's so many times I've saw openings in attack. Obviously, the players didn't see it as a new system. So I think, the manager had already said it. We're going to suffer for a few games. It probably would get a lot worse before it gets better. So I think maybe because I've kind of accepted that, it's easier for me to deal with. But also on the same side, on the flip side, I think fans are just hypersensitive now and just, overreactionary. And it's fair because they're seeing everyone else getting results.
13th in the table, it's
for now.
For now, I mean,
for now,
the reason why I mention it is because December, the games we've got to play, man.
That's what I said for now.
Oh, it could get even worse. You think 13th bad? We could, and I honestly mean this right now. We could be right near the relegation area by the end of December.
We could be 16th or 17th. Yeah,
very easily.
By the time we face Liverpool.
Yeah.
On the 5th of January.
Yeah.
It could easily be 15th, and if we lose that, we could drop into the bottom 3 realistically, right? But then I know, sorry.
No, continue. Go.
Yeah, but then I know that it's temporal. I think the players will get it. I think the manager is an inspirational figure. I've heard the way a few players refer to him, and I think he can actually get something out of these guys. And I know that once he has a summer with his own players, like all this will just be forgotten. I think the main thing is just the Europa League. This is the most important league this season because it's the most realistic. I mean, apart from Spurs, there's really no one else that could trouble us, really.
Well, Sam, should we spoken about consistency there, and Ruben Amorims was criticised by Gary Neville's and all these kind of guys during the midweek, especially after the Arsenal game, about rotating too much. Do we need to start seeing some consistency now in terms of starting 11, or do you think he will continue to tweak until he finds what he wants?
I don't even think it's necessarily tweaking. I think he's just managing loads because, like Jimmy said, we're not really training. Like, we're playing a game, they have a day of rest, they 1 day of training, and it's another game. Like, there's no time to sort of implement his tactical philosophy at the minute. Like, they have to learn on the pitch. So to manage these loads of these players, a lot of them who are coming back from injury, like Terrell Malacia, obviously Luke Shaw before he got re-injured, Mason Mount has been out for a while, Kobe Mainoo's coming back, Leacher, all these different players are coming back from injury. He doesn't want to just play them into the ground like Ten Hag did. You remember Ten Hag used to just go, no, he's going to play. No matter what, he's playing. And even if there's injuries or things that I could tactically adapt, I'm not going to do it. So I think that's part of his process. He's trying to sort of manage that because he knows he's got, I think we've got like, is it sort of 11 games in like 30 days or something ridiculous? Like it's a massive sort of like backlog of games. So, yeah. So I think that's something that he's keeping his eye on. He doesn't want like massive injuries because we saw what happened to Ten Hag when that happened. It just destroyed the whole team. And then again, I think he's still trying to find who he can trust, who's going to actually like work hard on the pitch consistently. I think we've seen a couple of them, Ahmad and Mazraoui. I think they've stood out as like people he can rely on. Ugarte, probably another one. So I still think he's trying to work out who he can rely on, and I still think there's question marks over most of the other players, if we're being honest. So I think that's another part of it. But yeah, I think it's mostly about load management rather than just constantly tweaking things. And I think he's also trying to find out who he can trust.
The thing I've seen at the moment, if I was to do like a, I don't know, like a 2-month analysis, however long Amorim's been here, I can't remember. It feels like a year already. But to look at now in terms of individual players that I'm like, okay, I can see something we're working with there is Mazraoui, Yoro, De Ligt, Onana, despite the mistake that he made the other day, which killed me. Ahmad, Kobe, Ugarte. I'm like, it's something there that we can work with, that kind of pool of players. The rest of it, I'm looking at and I'm like, I don't know. Even Kobe, I'm like, I wanted Kobe, but I don't know necessarily if he's best in that role. Yeah, maybe I haven't seen enough. Yeah, maybe too strong in making a conclusion. But I mean, we touched on it in the review the other day. We were speaking about him. He's better carrying the ball, dribbling, beating a man, operating near that 18-yard box, and that role that he's doing in Amorim's system at the minute, it's just different to that. It's a lot different. So I don't know how they work that, but he's probably the same now. He's probably looking at it thinking, it's such a jumbled pack. I need to get everything in order here, and hopefully he gets it in order by at least, New Year, you start seeing some consistency, at least in team selection and what he's trying to do. Because if we don't, results are the first thing you need to get in football. And we could really slide down that table. Not even just the Premier League table, Europa League table as well, if you're not careful. So let's see what happens with that. Just a couple of stats for you. So Viktoria Plzen have lost both of their previous European games against English sides, going down 3-0 at home and 4-2 away to Manchester City in the Champions League. United have never won away against Czech opposition before, drawing 2 and losing 1. And Viktoria Plzen are the only side yet to have a build-up attack in the UEFA, in the Europa League this season, while Man United have had the most, 21, and are the only side to score more than once from a build-up attack. What that means, I have no idea. It was just a stat that was on BBC, so take that for what you will. But Viktoria Plzen, Chave, very competitive team. Second in their domestic league, lost 1 in the last 10, I think, for whatever that's worth. 2 wins and 3 draws in Europe, so an identical record towards the quite literally level with us in the thing. So some might call this a 6-pointer.
Yeah, probably would, and they would take delight in the fact that Bodo Glimt didn't make it easy for us. 20 didn't make it easy for us. I mean, they would know the situation with us now, so they would fancy their chances, especially them being at home. So I'm sure they do everything to make sure that it's not a walk in the park. Also, it's Man United, so every team is going to step up for us. I mean, it's a big thing for them, unfortunately for us. But I don't think there's any excuses here. Even if we're playing the under 21, I still expect a win. There's absolutely no excuses. We should be beating this team easily. But just similar to what Sam was saying about manager finding who he can trust, I also think that it's like he's trying to find his starting 11 and trying to play players in positions to see how well they do there, like what's best for them, or what position can bring out like the best in their qualities and stuff like that. So I think and if he's doing that during the season, like that, I mean, this is something you do in preseason. This is basically almost like his preseason at the moment. So it's gonna be challenging. And when the games are coming so quick and fast, one after each other, it's really difficult to do. But I still have belief, man. I still have a lot of belief in this guy, especially in the Europa League.
Well, this team most recently, Sam, have beaten Sociedad. They've beaten Dynamo Kiev. So not exactly scrubs who are just gonna, come to not come to Old Trafford because it's at their ground. But they're not going to turn up and park the bus. They've got a couple of familiar names in Vidra, used to play for Burnley and Watford. Who's actually been on the winning side both times against us with different teams. So
is he part of the Ollie one where we got battered 4-0?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then apart from Watford as well. And these guys will look at the Bodo game, the Porto, Fenerbahce, FC Twente, and they will feel like they can get something from this, won't they?
Absolutely. Like, we are not the team that dominates European games anymore against these like lower league opposition or like lesser teams. Like, it's just not who we are anymore. We have seen it. FC Twente, lowest ranked team in Europe, I believe. Couldn't get it over the line and made a stupid mistake. Our forwards are malfunctioning, so we're finding it hard to score goals, which doesn't help you when you're trying to beat teams like this because they're going to set up and they're going to make themselves hard to beat. And if you haven't got people who can score goals consistently, you're going to suffer, and it's going to be a lot of frustration and a lot of like sort of mistakes being made because of the frustration. So yeah, I can see him making a problem for us for definite. And again, gone are the days of us going, who's this team? Oh, fuck it. We'll go over there. We'll beat him 3-4-0 and then we'll move on. Like, that doesn't happen anymore. And like Chivy, I trust this manager. I don't trust a lot of these players. I think a lot of these players are a couple of bad games away from trying to chuck him under the bus like they do with every other manager. So the sooner we can clear some of these players out, the better. But I have faith in this manager and I trust him. And I think he is a very, very good manager.
When does this turn into a crisis? Do you know what I mean? Like, you look at it in a minute, league table, Europe. When does it turn into like actual panic stations where we're like, oh my God, we could actually be getting relegated? Or do you know what I mean?
I think it will turn into a crisis on the 6th January. Because after we play Liverpool on the 5th, I think by then, we'll be in some real deep shit. But so like I always used to say that I trusted the player. Well, not trusted the players, but I always believed that we had a bunch of good players. And they've done everything to prove me wrong, really. But at the end of the day, I think we find the right combination. I'm just waiting for the day when he starts Højlund and Xerxes together. I promise you
that. You saw a bit of that in the last game, I'm sure. Xerxes came on with him.
Yeah,
they came on. Yeah,
him and Mount.
Yeah, but then every time they've come on, we've been like in losing places. Like, I want us to start the game with both of them, and I think if you start Højlund, Rashford, and Xerxes, or Højlund, Xerxes, and Bruno, them three, I think they're all three different how do I say personalities, characters?
Profiles.
Like, they all have different profiles. Thank you. That's it. Sorry, it's been a long day.
I'm a professional.
Yeah, all three different. Yeah. Three different profiles, and I think they would blend really well together. And I think it's one of those ones where once he gets the right combination of players to fit, it would just be like that. I think it would just click. And he's still in the phase where he's trying to get that together. But as far as a crisis, I don't think we're far off. In a couple of weeks, we probably would be in one, because we've got City and we've got Spurs, I think. And then Newcastle, we've got Bournemouth.
Arsenal in the FA Cup as well.
Arsenal in the FA Cup on the 12th. That's just mad.
As if you know the date.
I know the date.
Tivy's got his calendar. Tivy writes all the Arsenal games on his calendar.
That's the only game you know the date for. Everything else is a blur.
I'm looking forward to that game, though. I'm actually looking forward to that game.
Yeah, well, we've got to get past, a couple of the teams first before we get to that. A quick throwaway question, because we are talking about a Czech side, Viktoria Plzen. I want to ask for you both. Can you name a five-a-side of Czech players? Good Czech Republican players. Do you call them Czech Republicans anymore? I don't know.
Need to check.
Yeah. Nedved. Pavel Nedved. You can have. All my head is just filling with Croatian players. I can't. I'm like, that's a different country.
There's some ones in there. There is some very famous players that you will know. Premier League players as well, in fairness. Some that play for Liverpool, some that play for Arsenal.
Oh, who was the guy who scored the screamer at the Euros? Fuck, what was he called? Did he play for?
I'm not.
He plays for a German team, doesn't he?
Oh, I know you're on about. Yeah, and it was a song about him. It was after a Lady Gaga song, I think it was.
Oh, Patrick Schick. Yeah,
Patrick Schick.
Souček?
Yes.
Is he Czech or is he Croatian?
Souček is Czech. Yeah, Souček is Czech.
Oh, fuck. Our old goalie as well. Kovar. He's Czech Republican, isn't he?
Kovar is Czech Republican, yeah. Chive, any suggestions? Throw in there.
Come on. We can do this.
You got a United player you're missing out.
Have we? Czech United player?
Old school, and this is like your two era.
Poborski?
As well, we're talking
was
about.
He Czech? Okay.
Poborski. Karol Poborski.
I remember that. We bought him off, was it a back of the Euros or something? Because he had a great Euros and he was just shit for us. Like, he was just fucking terrible. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I can hear your voice in the back of my head and I'm thinking, what the fuck's going on here? And the video that I was uploading before has just started exporting. Well, it's just exported. So it went, hello, welcome. And I was like, what? Am I in an alternate fucking reality here? What the fuck's going on?
Who's talking to me?
Yeah, pause that. Right, I'm done. That's fine. Yeah, sorry, I've lost my bearings there. There was another one. So you guys have heard of the Panenka, right?
Oh,
the
penalty.
That was a Czech player.
Ah.
That was a player. Yeah, called Panenka. So it's I'm dropping dimes on you. I like the Andy Mitten today. Just dropping some dimes on you.
By the way, the ball's on Cole Palmer to do that in the Chelsea Spurs game.
Oh, I love him. If I had a dream signing,
what a madness that is! Just doesn't give a shit. Doesn't give a shit. So I'm going to Panenka it.
I like if Chivy was a player. They are Cole Palmer's interviews. I fucking love it. After it, it's just like they'll ask him something, and he'll just go,
"I don't know."
Yeah, I thought it was good. Probably that's why I done it.
Did you see the one where they asked? I use my spirit animal. Do you see the one where they asked him about Spotify?
Yeah, and he said, "Oh, I've got my mates or something." Was it?
Yeah, they asked him like, about Spotify. I was like, "Yeah, I haven't got one." They were like, "You don't have a favorite song or Spotify?" He was like, "Both." He just uses his friend.
What a guy! What a guy!
That's what you get. It's a guy from Wivenshaw. Like he just doesn't care. Like he's just like, well, sure, whatever, man.
He's not asked at all. And Maresca touched on that actually. He said in his post-match press, he was saying like that's the best quality that he's got. The fact that he's come from a certain level. He scored 25 goals last season, and he's still the exact same person right now. The exact person. He'll never change. So, yeah, United players could learn a thing or two from Cole Palmer. Right, who are the ones to watch in this game for you lads from Man United? Who you got your eye on?
Don't ask me to name a Viktoria Plzen player.
Yeah. Vidra. We'll all say Vidra for Viktoria Plzen.
Actually, the guy I put in the thumbnail is Sewell, I think his name is. That was the guy I put in the thumbnail, so that's the other one I know. But apart from that, don't know any of them.
For United?
Ahmad has to be done it. Like he's our only attacking threat and seems to be the only one we have an outlet through to create something. If he starts.
Exactly.
He's the only one that I think can create something, and you'll get excited and things might happen. I'm not going to say Mazraoui again because I say it every week.
Start as well.
You know what? I was actually quite impressed with Maguire when he came on against Arsenal. I think it was. He kind of brought a calming effect when the league went off. Maguire came on, and he really brought like a calming effect, almost like, all right, an experienced head has come in here. And I was actually quite impressed with his performance, with the way he carried himself, the way he was spraying the passes. He wasn't too like rapt with his decisions.
He plays well in the back
think
three.
He's one of those.
He plays well in the back three.
He does.
He always has.
He actually does, and I think he's one of those sleepers, one of those ones that no one's talking about. And I think I won't be surprised that when this manager finds his starting 11, I'm not saying he will be there, but if he's there, I will not be surprised, honestly.
I think in Amorim's system, the wing backs are designed to stretch the play, right? So obviously a lot of the focus when teams are defended against us will be central. They're trying to compact them areas. So having a centre back who can loft those balls like he does, those long balls into the wing backs, you see it all the time. You saw it in one of his very first training sessions. Johnny Evans was doing it, clipping it over to Malacia to Mount, and they'd get into like the final phase of play. So I think he will be. I think he will be a good player for us, but he just needs to get up to speed, doesn't he? He's only just got back from injury. So, yeah. So are you going with Maguire then? Is that your one to watch in this game?
Yeah.
Cool. That's fine. Right. Quick fire questions. Will Man United concede Thursday evening? Is it 4:06?
Yeah, we definitely will.
Yeah, I believe so. I think so.
Okay. What's more likely, Man United to win the Europa League or to finish right at the bottom half of the table?
When you say bottom half, what do you mean?
So like 15th, 14th, something like that. Yeah, 15th, 16th.
Where's the one where we get eliminated? How low do we have to be for that?
Is that what we're asking already?
Yeah.
How low do we eliminate?
Is that below?
I don't know.
Is that 24th or below? I think, isn't it?
I thought so.
It's the top 6 that go through,
isn't
it?
It's top 8.
It's top 8.
Top 8.
Yeah.
And then
top 8 go
9th
through.
down to 24th go into playoffs, and then anybody below 24th's out. I think that's what.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's correct.
Oh, really? So 9th to 24th
playoffs.
Goes in playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, so there's some hope.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, lads. Go get past Viktoria Plzen first. So yeah, which one's more likely?
Your question, I think the finishing in the bottom half is more realistic at this point.
I agree.
Okay. What's the worst we do in this tournament? What's the best then? Given that question,
we could win it if we play well. We could definitely win it.
Mm-hmm.
The worst is we go out in this round, like we finish below 24th and we go out.
You think we're capable of doing that?
Of going out?
No.
Of doing that, of like not even getting into the.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely, most definitely. Yeah.
We are.
We're fucking awful, man. If you watched us play, like we're shit.
Yeah.
We're so shit.
We're not that bad. We're not that bad. We're really not that bad. But I think the worst would probably be qualifying for the playoffs and then losing the playoffs. That's like the absolute worst. But we will make the playoffs. There's no doubt about that.
That'll be tough. Here's a hard-hitting question for you. How long until we're back into the Champions League?
It won't be next season. So season after.
I think we can win it. I think it's possible that we'll be
Champions
in
League
next season. Yeah, from winning this trophy. I think it's possible.
Oh, right. I thought you say we can win the Champions League. I was like, what? I won't wear you're smoking, mate. Jesus Christ.
Oh, no, not win. Yeah. But I think it's actually possible. It's realistic for us to expect to win this Europa League trophy.
Okay.
Honestly.
Sam?
But if your question is more about how long.
Yeah, so 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
Top 4 sort of thing, maybe 2 years. Maybe, yeah, at the end of next season. So, yeah, 2 years.
I'd probably say 27, 2028, around there.
You know.
There's so much wrong with this club. Like, there's so much wrong. There's so many problems. So, it's,
Prediction for man of the match. Or are you going to stick with your ones to watch in terms of Maguire, Ahmad?
You'd chuck Mazraoui in there as well if you want.
Big Maz, of course, doing
man of the match. Maybe Ukasi.
Gatti is a good shout.
Very good shout. Okay, what teams are we going with, lads? Onana, Maz, because I think Euro, I don't think he'll want to play him too much at the start of him just coming back. So I think it'll be Maz, Delit, maybe Maguire, and the more I think about it, might come into it. Lissandro, a left-sided centre-half. Dallo, Kobe, Cass, Malacia, did I say? Yeah. I think Malacia comes back into it. I think Ahmad might get a rest. Kobe can play. Casemiro hasn't played in a bit. I can't remember the last time he started, to be fair. I feel like it was a few games ago. And then I think me and Chivy got the same front three. So I think Bruno, Xerxes, Rashford could be the combination that we see in this one. But we just thought it's hard to predict, isn't it? I genuinely don't know. So we'll see. Yeah. You there? Who have you gone with?
I went with Mars. Please confirm if this is correct. But I went Mars, Maswari, Maguire, and Lisandro. And then I went Ahmad, Ericsson, Casemiro, Dallo. Just because rotation, they haven't played. He might fancy his chances playing both of them or one of each. Also, with the game against City in mind, he might want to rest some players as well. And then I've gone with the front three of Bruno, Zexi, Rashford, because I think if you have that front three, I think can do some damage, regardless of who we've got in midfield. So
interesting. I think Ericsson's an interesting one. I haven't seen him for a while, have we? He's another one I can't. It's been a good 5, 6, 7 games at least.
His contract's up in at the end of the season, so they're probably like on his way out. And
it's weird because
this system, this system does not suit him and Casemiro. Like it's. I think it's just way too evolved for both. Well, not evolved, but it's just too. There's too much of a physical demand on both of them. This system, so. Yeah, but if he doesn't play tomorrow, then I'll just know for sure that he's gone, because he's the only one that hasn't really started too many games.
That's how quickly football can change. A month ago, everyone was talking about Ericsson being our best player, and now he's not even starting. Yeah. So it's madness. Right, score predictions. Let's get them in the bag then. Last thing we're going to do. What are we going with, lads?
3-1. United.
2-1.
Okay. United, Sam?
Yeah.
Okay, just double checking. I've gone United 1-0.
You have to check. You have to check yourself.
I have to check Slovakia. Never mind. Man United 1-0. Viktoria Plzen. Got it. I have to check. You know, see what I did there.
I fucking hate 1-0s. I really, really hate 1-0
It's the worst. The absolute worst.
I think they will take that though with the City game at the weekend. The derby, they'll be looking at just get out of fucking Czech with a win. I don't care. Get the job done. Get back home. Get in the recovery tanks and just be ready for that derby. Because I don't have a clue what's going to happen in that. City have started winning again. I know they drew to Palace, but they beat Forest 3-0. Forest have just tanked us 3-2. I don't know what's going to happen in that game. So yeah, we'll save that for the preview. Thank you very much, everyone who's tuned in. I appreciate it's been at a different time, so a lot of you weren't able to kind of tune in, but we're watching this later on. So if you are, please do smash like the video for us and subscribe to the channel. Thank you to Jivy and Sam for joining us. Obviously, we'll have all the action covering the game on Thursday evening. But apart from that, we're back tomorrow at 12 o'clock with a new show and plenty of other stuff coming your way with Prem predictions and stuff. So yeah, appreciate every single one of you. See you in the next one.
Peace.